Bill Ackman slams California wealth tax as expropriation of private property. Okay, is there a clip on this or is it a tweet?
It's a tweet.
Okay, let's go through. Oh, we already talked about this. It's from December 29th. Why is the story on January 5th, though? Why is it showing the story is here? Let me see this. Boom, 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 boom. $1 billion, 5% tax, California. Yeah, we talked about that already, right? I thought it was a newer story that he brought up. I'll skip that story. I'll skip that story because I thought it was a newer one. And we covered that one right there. Here's only how much half Americans. Which one's going to be BYD? Tesla, China, boom. Okay, here we go. Homeownership rate in New York is the absolute lowest in the U.S. Think about it. Mm-hmm. Lowest in the U.S. New York? Yes. New York is the lowest in the U.S. When you look at this article, Rob, I don't know if there's a chart for the other ones because I'd want to know who is the highest, if New York is the lowest, if we can pull that up. Homeownership, long viewed as a cornerstone of American economic security, remains stubbornly out of reach in New York State. By the end of 2024, the Empire State posted the lowest homeownership rate in the country with just 51.3% of residents owning their homes. The report places New York at the bottom of a national ranking and highlights how sharply the state diverges from much of the rest of the country where owning a home remains the norm rather than the exception. The study, conducted by Stage Properties Brokers, LLC, tracked quarterly ownership trends across 50 states throughout 2024 using a single most recent full year available data. The rankings were determined by the state share of each state's population that owned a home in the fourth quarter year, capturing not only where the state ended the year, but also how ownership levels shifted over time. In New York's case, the trajectory was flat to down, reinforcing the state's longstanding reputation as a renter-heavy market dominated by high prices, limited inventory, and dense urban housing stock, particularly in New York City. Who was at the top, Rob? Does it show you who was at the top or no?
No, I could only find a chart that was from 2022, but nothing for 2025.
Tom, where are you at with this? Why does this story matter?
So what I think it points out is that New York was already difficult for people to actually own a house. And what's interesting, in blue states where the property tax is higher, people forget that there's hidden cost of home ownership that people don't see, first-time homeowners don't see right off the bat. And that is the property tax that you have to pay, usually December 20th. Everybody gets a property tax bill. It's usually due by January 20th or something like that. And that is based on the price of the house. So if the house is more expensive, not only do you need a bigger down payment, not only do you need a bigger mortgage, now you're paying more property tax, and because the value of the house is up, now the insurance is more to insure that house if you have to rebuild it because of fire, loss, or storm, whatever it is. And so blue states where have all those headwinds, it all adds up to being much more difficult to actually own the home. And that's what we're seeing in the bluest of blue states, which is California, but it used to be New York, but they're right there at the top too. Now it's difficult. So what do I make of it? It's failed economic policies. You could also take a look at all the blue states and the cost of electricity per kilowatt. I found a chart yesterday that was talking about that, and it was blue states were doing that too. So now it's also the bigger your house is, the more expensive the electricity is, so more expensive to run the heaters and air conditioners. And so I think this shows that when you've got more reasonable governors that are out there trying to set the stage to help people own homes, it starts with moderated enough supply so that the price is in line, and then property taxes that are reasonable. And then both of those things kind of contribute to insurance being more reasonable. This basically takes it away from being just a verbal headline to being a fact-based, allegation here where the evidence backs it up. It is more expensive in a blue state to own a home, and fewer people can do it.
That chart right there shows it. All the blue to the left, all the red to the right. And by the way, as I'm going closer to this list, here's what I noticed. The lowest is New York, then it's Massachusetts, then it's Rhode Island, then Hawaii, California, Nevada, Connecticut, Alaska, Jersey, Oregon, Massachusetts. Now, if you go to highest, which is around 81%, West Virginia is the highest, then Mississippi, Delaware, Vermont is blue, ish. Maine, New Hampshire, Idaho, Michigan, Pennsylvania, Minnesota. By the way, Florida ranks as 15th state for highest home ownership, 69.45%. West Virginia is 80%. New York is 50%, 51% when you look at that list. So Florida is still on that list for lifestyle over some of the other states. Jeff, your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I mean, the reason why West Virginia is at the top is because of, the value of houses is much lower there, which is good and bad. But New York, again, it reinforces the reason why we have Mamdani now as mayor of New York City. Because for most people, they believe that home ownership and just the basics of American in life are just out of reach. And they have gotten further and further out of reach. Now, you can have an argument about why that is and how to fix it. But as far as most people's perceptions, it reinforces those perceptions that something isn't right here. And I would actually argue that New York is two stories rolled into one, because I grew up in upstate New York in the Rust Belt. So in New York City, it's as Tom said, highly dense, very expensive to live. So people who do have a job and are gainfully employed are still priced out of the marketplace. Versus upstate, which is an economic wasteland, people don't have a job and are priced out of the market because they have no income. They have basically state aid. So you have it doesn't matter where you are in New York or what it is, the end result is the same.
The question is, how much do people love the NFL team, the NHL team, the MLB team of West Virginia? I mean, when you watch their NBA team in West Virginia, they crush it. The beach in West Virginia is amazing. So is it lifestyle? Because what does New York have? Everything. What does California have? Everything. They got so many sports teams you can pick and choose from. If you don't like the Lakers, go to the Clippers. You don't like the Dodgers, go to the Angels. You don't like the Rams, go to 49ers. You can pick and choose, right?
Yeah.
At least they don't discriminate, right?
Well, those are symbols of past prosperity, right? That's why they have so many past prosperity.
So, but then the question becomes for an individual that's watching this right now saying, well, if I'm 30 years old, guy asked me a question on Manek the other day. He says, Pat, here's where I'm at. I'm out of Toronto, okay? I want to take my family out of Toronto. He's 35 years old. He says it's hard. My family ties, my in-laws, my parents. How do you overcome this challenge? My wife doesn't want to move, but I know the right thing to do is to leave because that's better for me long term. What do I do? So it's going to be hard. But I think people are starting to ask the question of, where should I spend my lifetime raising my family, raising my kids in a safe place? I can keep the taxes. I can save more money. Cost of living is going to be better. People are asking those types of questions. Brandon, what are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I mean, since the time I turned 25 or 26, around when COVID happened, I was like dead set on getting either to Texas or Florida, and I started in Texas, ended up here. But
Where'd you go to in Texas? What part?
Fort Worth. Lived there for a year.
Really? How was that?
I loved it.
Really?
Yeah, beautiful place.
Yeah, it is.
I like Florida more, but yeah, no, Texas and Florida both awesome.
Did you go to that Federal Reserve building in Fort Worth at the currencies? Did you see that tower or not?
No, I didn't go there.
I thought for sure you would have gone there, try to steal a machine.
I'll circle back.
Printing machine.
But yeah, no, I mean, New York's a disaster because I think that a lot of these places like that have wealth concentrated where there's a big tax base, you get these nasty swamp creatures who end up running for politics there. And there's decades and years of them, potentially maybe embezzling money or misallocating money, like where billions of dollars go disappearing. You just get the wrong type of people in the positions of power, and then it's just layers and layers and layers of bad policies. Like it takes too long to get building permits in New York. They do the rent control stuff, so all that stuff compounds. I think like 7% of the expensive apartments in New York are owned by foreign investors. So like there's just empty $1 million buildings in New York or $1 million apartments in New York that are owned by Chinese internationals. So it's all kinds of toxic sludge that's piled up over the years with New York.
So are you saying you're not moving to New York? Is that kind of what you're saying?
No, I wish I could, but no, not the way it's run. Like
not right now.
Back in the Robert Moses days, maybe that's when it was really humming, but not anymore.
There's a life cycle of states in the same way there's a life cycle of companies, right?
Yes.
It starts out, you do all the things that you need to do to become successful, then you get lazy, then you get corrupt, and it all falls apart. We've seen that with New York, we've seen that with California.
Yep. Having said that, folks, since September 9th or 10th, even when we went to Aspen, I keep telling you this, I have been wearing the same exact shoes. I'm not kidding with you. This sounds crazy, doesn't it? It has to be. It's the only thing that I wear every single day, and I show you every single time. This is on, right? Future Looks Bright shoes. We are now seeing this in 20, I think we just hit 25 or 26 countries that it's been ordered in. If you're somewhere in the world watching this, you haven't placed an order yet, go ahead. But here's a Future Looks Bright shoes. Rob, go ahead and play the clip. When we set out to create a shoe that blends comfort, function, and luxury, we had the choice to make it fast. We had the choice to make it cheap. We chose neither. Instead, we chose Tuscany, Italy. We chose true Italian craftsmanship, each pair touched by 50 skilled hands. We chose patience, spending 2 years perfecting every detail, and we chose the finest quality at every step. Introducing the Future Looks Bright collection. Not rushed, not disposable, not ordinary. Rather, intentional, luxurious, timeless. All right, so guys, it's officially on the fourth order. This is how quickly this thing's going right now. What we were not expecting for a shoe, but it has become such a big hit. And the biggest thing is people come to this page and they compare it to the Berluti, the Ferragamo, the Zegna, the Gucci, and you look at the FLB and what it offers with the super foam technology at the bottom of it and the craftsmanship, made in Tuscany, Italy, at 5 factories. If you haven't placed an order for yourself or your husband or your son or somebody, go place an order. They will fall in love with the shoes. Go read the reviews on the website for yourself, only from people who purchased the shoes, and enjoy it. They'll come back to you saying, this is the most comfortable thing I've ever worn. Go to vtmerch.com, place your order. And having said that, let's get right into it. If you enjoyed this video, you want to watch more videos like this, click here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click here.